It's Ken Harbaugh with the MeidasTouch Network here in central Kyiv. Another extraordinary day in an extraordinary city under constant bombardment. Multiple air raid alerts last night. We expect more tonight. Our aid deliveries are complete, including an ambulance delivered to a frontline unit and additional aid in critical need across Ukraine. My wingman for much of that today was Ken Casey of the Dropkick Murphys. I wanted to share with you two conversations I had with Ken. One during an aid delivery and another longer conversation about the power of art and music in particular to tell the truth and to challenge authoritarianism. If you support what we're trying to do here in Ukraine, please check out my Patreon page at the Ken Harbaugh Show. Every dollar raised in June is going to the Ukraine relief effort. Thanks so much. It's Ken Harbaugh with the MeidasTouch and Valor Media Networks, here with the other Ken Casey of the Dropkick Murphys. We just finished delivering this ambulance to our Ukrainian partners, a military unit. We can't disclose the unit or where we are, but we can talk about the resilience of the Ukrainian people. It's extraordinary every time I come. We had two more air raids in Kyiv last night, and the Ukrainians pushed through every time. The reason we're delivering ambulances is because the average lifespan of one of these at the front is 11 days. The Russians target them as a terror tactic, as a way to kill the spirit of the Ukrainian people, but it's pretty undimmed, at least from my perspective. Ken, what do you see?
Having never been here before, but having met a lot of Ukrainians over the years that have crossed the border out to see Dropkick shows in Poland or Hungary or Romania, I've always just kind of hit it off with Ukrainians. They got a great spirit. When the convoy crossed the border from Poland into Ukraine, we passed these people. The very first people we saw, all waving with big smiles, and it was like, wow. And granted, that's the far west, and it's not on the front line, but the people are the people, and and that spirit is carried through as we've come farther into the country. And even the soldiers today that we met, they had smiles on their face. And we had lunch with the one gentleman, and he just casually says, "Oh, I just got back," and he's having lunch with us, like it's just another day. And the resiliency of their spirit, and also just how they are, using any truck they can get their hands on, or anything they can weld together. I'm really grateful I got to see it with my own two eyes, and I look forward to be able to tell people at home, especially people that maybe think we should turn our back on Ukraine. I think it's important that people like us get to see it with our own eyes and can relay the stories back home.
Ken, you got a new single coming out, Who Will Stand With Us? I think that has deep resonance for what we're going through in America, but also for what's happening here. Can you talk about the meaning of that in this moment?
Yeah, the song's really about just how the quest for wealth and power has always led to war and to keeping working people and other people down, and just generally treating people, in inhumane ways. A lot of it has to do with the state of America right now, but it's very, translates incredibly to what's going on over here.
Well, hey, Ken, thanks for all you do.
Thank you, Ken.
Really honored to have you on this trip.
It's great to be here.
Welcome to the Ken Harbaugh Show. I'm joined today by Ken Casey, frontman for the Dropkick Murphys, a iconic rock band, and they've got an album coming out, and one of the tracks on that album is destined to become the protest anthem for this generation. I think some people have gotten a sneak preview at some of the protest events you've done, but Ken, what motivated you to write Who Will Stand With Us?
I think throughout the history of the band, obviously, working class solidarity has always been something important to us. And let's face it, this administration has taken things to a whole other level, but in a way, the class warfare of dividing, working class people to fight amongst each other so that they won't team up on the guys with the money has always happened throughout time. So, it's not necessarily like, if you really break down the lyrics of the song, like there's nothing really controversial to it. It should be something that everybody would say, yeah, I agree with that. But weirdly enough, we're in this world where like a good amount of the people that have to worry about paying their bills and feeding their children still would rather stick up for a billionaire. It leaves me scratching my head. So, we're not afraid to alienate people when we need to, but at the same time, I think for the sake of our country, like it would be better to like coax some people back over to this side of being reasonable and sane, as opposed to, continuing that. A guy I'm friendly with that I'm often debating politics with, you say your side and our side. And I said, more than anything, we need to stop saying your side and my side, you know what I mean? Because it's crazy, we're all like living under the same roof, you know what I mean? So we should want what's best for all of us. So anyway, the motivation really is to just speak up on behalf of the people who don't have a voice, but at the same time, maybe get people that are entrenched in attacking the left or whatever to see like, well, maybe there's a point here. Maybe I am a little off track to be so supportive of a regime that really just wants to enable the wealthy in the corporate greed,
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. It still baffles me when people come at you for, quote, bringing politics into your music. I mean, what else is music for? Especially
Right.
punk music. It's always been subversive. It's always had a political undercurrent, and you weave that in just so brilliantly into your lyrics, into your performances. Are people still confused that you have a point of view?
Yeah, right. Shockingly, yes. And I think some of them are people that are, I guess, probably obviously weren't paying attention all along. And then there's a lot of people that were lockstep with us, 15 years ago or 10 years ago. And suddenly they've, rewrote history in their mind. And all of a sudden, this great divide has happened, and they'll all, and then some of that was even exasperated more over COVID, when it became like, you're just a shill for the government, and the whole, QAnon, whatever you want to call it, all these just false talking points, and the lies that social media has spread like wildfire is just got to the point where people that, and all of a sudden, like labor unions, you're a commie. It's like, what are you talking about? You say you love the first album, you know what I mean? The first album is, people from the union I was in, you know what I mean? Like, and all of a sudden, and then they'll say, well, things have changed. And I said, have they though? Maybe you're just a boomer now, you know what I mean? And, I don't know, man. And I like to try to make time for everybody to hear their point. And obviously, like getting back to what I said earlier, not making it like two different teams or two different sides. But at some point, like, how do you debate with someone who's just saying facts that are just completely not true? So it's tiring, you know what I mean? And like everything in the human race, right? Like some days I'm patient and polite, and some days I'm not, when it comes to this. And, there's been a few viral videos of me on all sides of that emotional spectrum, So, I do try to, I try to look at some of the people that are so red pill maggot and almost view him as like a sick friend. You know what I mean? That just got some bad intel, and I'm sure that this would infuriate me. A lot of people, me saying this, you know what I mean? But like, I just feel like, you could grow up in a family that just has a certain TV station on or whatever. And if that stuff is fed to you nonstop, I can see how people could get, swallowed up in it,
Hey, it's Ken Harbaugh. Huge shout out to everyone who has supported this show via our Patreon page. If you want to weigh in with questions for upcoming guests or give us feedback on past guests or make sure you never miss an episode, click the link below. It's free to sign up. And if you're able to pitch in a few bucks a month, just know that we put every dollar back into the show. We do have another reporting trip to Ukraine coming up. Thanks for the help. Can you give us a preview of what's going down on June 6th? And this might be too much to ask, but any hints on your set list? We are looking forward to it.
I haven't thought. I'll be completely honest. I haven't thought about that yet. I usually come up with the set list when I arrive in the event or the like if it's a normal show when the opening band is on. But on January 6th. When the speakers are on, I'll go up in the back of the stage and peek out and get a vibe.
Wait. June 6th, not January 6th.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hello. The 6th has been brainwashed into my head. And yeah,
I know. Same.
June 6th. I'll peek up on the stage and kind of look at the crowd and figure it out from there. But obviously, it'll be a lot of, our songs that deal with the, issue at hand, whether it be, labor or just real patriotism or, and then of course play some of the songs that just people want to hear that have nothing to do with, anything. But yeah, I don't ever really plan something until I take a look at the audience, so, and I have a feeling it's going to be a big audience and, we're honored to, we plan to be involved in a lot of the protests, but I feel like the veterans one aligns with a lot of, what's important to us more so than they're all important, but, I just think, and I also like the fact that I feel like when the veterans speak up, it makes MAGA uncomfortable. They kind of like have to look in the mirror a little bit more, because the MAGA loves to say like, purple hair and go have your latte or whatever, so it's harder for them to just put that narrative back onto, when veterans are speaking up.
Yeah. Well, we are honored to have you. We are so excited about the event. I think you've got the oligarchical class scared because as part of the prep for this interview, I tried to check out your Twitter account and it has been suspended. The Dropkick Murphys has been kicked off of Twitter for violating Elon's rules. Congratulations. I've been trying for that for months.
We thought we had deactivated it way back when he went, just off the reservation, but apparently it hadn't. And so we weren't using it anyway. So it really, having that done to us doesn't really have much effect on us. But yeah, I think if you're pissing off any of those guys, you're making an impact. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
totally. And the better conversation is happening on Blue Sky anyway. Here's one of your recent posts. If you're okay with a woman being snatched off the street for free speech and peaceful protest and detained with no due process, you have fully lost the plot on what America is supposed to be. Ken, love your music, love your message. Can't wait to see you on stage on June 6th, 2 p.m. on the National Mall.
Can't wait.
New Meidas merch drop. Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more. All at store.MeidasTouch.com.